First and foremost, it was like absolutely breathtaking to be able to walk into the White House.
An East Tennessee woman's dream came true today. She took her recovery story straight to the White House when President Trump declared the opioid epidemic a national public health emergency.
This comes as overdose deaths in Knox County continue to climb, today reaching the same number of deaths in 10 months as officials saw in all of last year. As President Trump made his announcement today, two familiar faces stood behind him. Knoxville Police Chief David Roush and an East Tennessee woman who has overcome her addiction. WBIR 10 News reporter Madison Wade heard from both of them following their time at the White House. Madison.
Aaron and Robin both were invited to the White House because of their stories tied to the opioid epidemic. Roush sees it not only in his job every day, but his personal life too. And Mally Moore uses her story to help others locally and now on the national stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States and Mrs. Trump.
Standing in the back row, this was the moment for Mally Moore.
So that's whenever it got really surreal. And I was like, wow, I'm here.
It was her dream to take her story to the White House. Her story of how she overcame an addiction so strong.
And I had no hope. I had not one small ounce of hope.
But when you ask her today, she'll tell you she's living the life she was meant to live.
It's just wonderful to hear that such power is going to go into all of this, and it's going to give us so much opportunity to help others.
She stood behind President Trump as he declared the opioid epidemic a national public health emergency.
We can be the generation that ends the opioid epidemic. We can do it.
Along with Mally, Knoxville Police Chief David Roush stood behind the president.
Opioid addiction is something that is devastating, not only our community, but many communities throughout this country.
He talked about how his officers have saved more than 100 lives by using the life-saving drug Narcan.
We're averaging 3 to 4 overdose deaths a week in our community.
And he also talked about how this epidemic is personal for him.
I have 2 family members who suffer from this, 2 children who suffer from this. I'm raising a child who's been exposed to NAS. A 15-month-old baby.
Roush, Mally, and President Trump echoed each other. This epidemic has no boundaries.
It has impacted every race, every creed, every color.
So together as a country, we must address the problem.
Together, we will face this challenge as a national family.
And for those people wanting so desperately to overcome addiction, Mally says never stop fighting.
Don't give up. It happens, and pray to your God.
Chief Roush said Knoxville Police will get grant money coming to the state of Tennessee. President Trump noted he would give $1 billion in grants for addiction and treatment across the country. Back to you.
Madison, thank you.
Well, Tennessee Senator Lamar Alexander issued a statement on the president's plan. He says, in part, this is a crisis not just in Tennessee, but across the country, with 91 Americans dying every day from an opioid overdose. I look forward to working closely with the Trump administration to help address and solve this tragic problem.